NASA just got the closest answer we've ever had. Deep inside a billion-year-old rock, the Curiosity rover just found the most diverse collection of organic molecules ever seen on Mars. They include the very building blocks that make up your own DNA. NASA's Curiosity rover has just analyzed a rock sample that changes everything we know about the red planet. It found 21 different organic molecules, 7 of which have never been seen on Mars before. These aren't just dirt, they are complex chemicals that, on Earth, are used to build things like DNA and RNA. While NASA isn't saying they found aliens yet, they have confirmed that ancient Mars had every single ingredient necessary for life to start. To understand why this is such a big deal, we have to talk about the sample itself. Scientists call it Mary Anning 3. It's a piece of rock named after a famous fossil hunter, and Curiosity drilled it out of a place called Mount Sharp in the Gale Crater. Billions of years ago, this wasn't a dry, dusty crater. It was a lush environment filled with lakes and streams. Think of it like a Martian oasis. When Curiosity drilled into this rock, it wasn't just looking at dust, it was looking at a time capsule. The coolest part is that this rock is made of clay. On Earth, clay is like a natural plastic wrap. It's really good at grabbing onto organic stuff and protecting it from the outside world. For 3.5 billion years, while the surface of Mars was being blasted by radiation and freezing temperatures, these molecules were tucked away safely inside the clay, waiting for a robot from Earth to come along and find them. You might be wondering, how does a rover on another planet actually see a molecule? It doesn't have a giant microscope. Instead, Curiosity has a mini lab inside its belly called Sample Analysis at Mars. For this specific discovery, the scientists tried something they've never done on Mars before. They used a chemical called TMAH. Think of it like a chemical key that unlocks the secrets of the rock. Curiosity takes the rock powder, mixes it with this chemical, and bakes it in an oven at incredibly high temperatures. When the rock gets hot enough, it releases gases. By smelling those gases, the rover can tell exactly what the rock was made of. This process is usually very difficult because Martian soil has some nasty chemicals in it that like to destroy organic matter when you heat it up. But this new wet chemistry method protected the molecules, allowing Curiosity to see things that were invisible to us for the last 10 years of the mission. The rover identified 21 different molecules, but 7 of them are the real stars of the show. The biggest discovery is something called a nitrogen heterocycle. Now, don't let the name scare you. Imagine you're building a Lego set for a human being. These molecules are the special pieces you need to build the base of the Lego tower. On Earth, these specific structures are the forerunners to DNA, the blueprint for all life. They also found things like benzothiophene, which is a mix of carbon and sulfur. Sulfur is like chemical glue. It helps preserve organic molecules for billions of years. Essentially, NASA didn't just find a few random chemicals. They found a diverse collection. It's like finding a kitchen that has flour, eggs, sugar, and milk. Does this mean NASA found life? The short answer is not yet. Organic molecules are the ingredients for life, but they can also be made by things that aren't alive. For example, meteorites hitting the planet can bring these chemicals with them. Or simple geological processes, just rocks and water rubbing together, can create them. Think of it like this. If you find a pile of bricks in the woods, it could mean someone was building a house. But it could also just be a pile of bricks that fell off a truck. NASA has found the bricks. Now they have to figure out if those bricks were ever part of a house. But even if these molecules didn't come from a living thing, the fact that they survived for 3.5 billion years is a miracle. It proves that if life did ever exist on Mars, the evidence is still there, buried just a few inches under the surface, waiting for us to find it. This discovery is like a roadmap for the future. Curiosity is still climbing Mount Sharp, looking for even older rocks. Meanwhile, its younger sibling, the Perseverance rover, is currently across the planet in an old river delta, collecting samples to eventually be brought back to Earth. Because Curiosity found these building blocks using its tiny onboard lab, imagine what we could find if we brought those rocks back to Earth and used the world's most powerful supermicroscopes on them. This news tells us that our search isn't in vain. We aren't just looking at a dead red rock. We are looking at a world that was once habitable.